The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today, all the way from the Seattle, Washington area. We have Lindsay Jackman with the Lindsay Jackman Group, Century 21. Yeah, Gig Harbor Realtor in the Puget Sound area. How are you, Lindsay?
I'm great. It's happy Friday the 13th. Couldn't be more excited.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
I know. All good things.
I ask everybody this very first question if you've ever watched any of my podcasts, but I ask them the same thing. Were you a young child of 5 years old tugging on your parents' pant leg saying, hey, mom, dad, I want to be a realtor when I grow up? Or did you fall into it like the rest of us did?
It is so funny you should ask that question. I was a little girl at one point, and I remember specifically riding in the backseat of the car, looking at signs in all these beautiful houses. The houses were always gorgeous. There was a sign in the front yard, somebody's name on it. And I thought to myself, I want to do that. I want to do that. That's important. Right. And I believe that my first sale was a Barbie house in kindergarten. So I even saw my Barbie house as an asset.
Somebody got hustled.
Yeah, exactly. It did not have the pool, so that would have been an upgrade. But to answer your question, some of us are born knowing what we want to do, and we just have to sort of figure it out and navigate. I always knew that I was going to be a master of chaos and creativity. Nice. Right? I just didn't realize that it was going to, put me here. But then looking back, I knew that selling a house was a big deal. I remember hearing, parents of my friends talk about the word escrow, and that felt like such a fancy word. And I always
to be an escrow. Want to be an escrow.
What is this magical escrow you speak of?
More escrow for everyone.
Right. Yeah. You get an escrow. You get an escrow. You get an escrow.
Right.
But anyway, no, to answer your question, it might look like I stumbled into it, but my life leading up to where I am now has all been by design, and it's all just fallen into place. But yeah.
Fantastic.
I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a real estate agent.
The reason I ask it is because maybe you're the first. No, but really, people, for the most part, the average age of a realtor in America is like 55, which is shocking. Mm-hmm. And you're not 55. I'm guessing that. And so I'm
29.
Confident. No, you're not. You're like 29. Get out of here. But my point is, it's like everybody fell into it. I've done over 300 podcasts. You think anybody has ever said, no, you're the first that even came close to saying, when I was a child, that there was something I was interested in. And I'm going to tell you a secret. When I was 10 years old, I knew I wanted to be in some form of real estate. Maybe not a realtor, maybe not this or that. But it's funny. And I ask it because I always felt like I was kind of alone in that, like it was fascinating to me that someone actually took the time to show me houses all day. And I go, man, ride around in a car, because we moved around a lot. My stepdad got transferred. So that's why I asked that. It's fascinating to me that there is someone else like me out there that actually knew at a young age that I loved real estate. So awesome. Awesome. So have you always been in the same area? I mean, in Gig Harbor, I mean, is that where are you native to that area? I don't mean to get too close. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's something you can't manufacture. That's something you either are, I'm a hometown girl or I'm not. I'm from here or I'm not. And I find that it's really helpful. We have a lot of people moving into the area, and they want to know the ins and outs of where they're moving to. They want to know the best restaurants. They want to know the quickest way to commute somewhere and not have to use the main freeways. And so, yeah, I found that that's been really beneficial in this business, is to be from here. My whole life, I've only moved around about maybe a 20-mile radius.
Oh, wow. Well, no,
Yeah.
that's awesome though, because really, when you think about it, if you have a sphere of area that you're proficient in or you're native to,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I would much rather deal with someone who knew how to get to the, wherever, the hospital or wherever it may
Mhm.
be, the
Yep.
quickest route possible, which that's being facetious with the hospital, but that is important.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, how to get around, how to avoid the highways, what's really the best school system that's not really not necessarily by ranking, but what's a good school. And
Yeah, for sure.
so, yeah, I love that. I love that. So let's talk about, are you a solopreneur or you have a team, or how do you work out of your Century 21 office?
So it's me. I'm the main one. My husband's also licensed, and I have kind of a unique arrangement. I have, agents that work, I like to say, near me,
Mhm.
not under me. I
Right.
have never wanted to make money off of someone else's effort. I've never felt like I wanted to be a true team leader and
Right.
be behind a computer, behind a desk, and pointing them and telling them what to do. I want to be out selling too. My main focus, and when I call myself a group, it's mentorship. It's not to grow and be gigantic and have 35 agents on my team. It is I really see myself as a mentor and a cheerleader and an encourager, but I am definitely out there in the trenches, boots on the ground,
Boots on the
selling as
ground. Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
Yep.
fantastic. So let me ask you this. So, you gave us a little insight to, you were interested in real estate at a young age.
Mhm.
Now you operate as the main person in your organization, and of course your spouse. Do you guys work real quick? Do you guys actually work together as a team, or are you separate entities and you kind of do your own thing?
So Josh is in law enforcement as well.
Oh, okay.
So fortunately, I'm able to handle quite a bit. I've got agents that, if I needed something right away,
Right.
it can be handled during the day. But Josh is out there as, he'll hold an open house, he'll sit site if he
Nice.
can, he's definitely support, but it is really, really nice to have that kind of spousal partner in business
Right.
too.
Right.
He's more invested. He knows what I'm doing. He knows, he can empathize with I don't complain, but he can certainly empathize with my concerns or my worries as they come up.
Right. That's great.
Yeah,
I think
it's a good
it's
balance.
had that shoulder, when you need it, and
Yeah.
then leg up when you need it. Both.
Yep. For
I've done
sure.
whole shows. I've done whole shows on couples working together, believe it or not.
Oh,
And
well, I want to stay married, so I don't want to work too
yeah,
closely together.
it's funny, not funny, haha. Well, maybe funny, haha, but ironic.
Hmm.
A lot of people are like that. We have to be that way, because if we didn't, I'll say the name Josh because that's your husband's name.
Sure. Yeah.
Josh wouldn't understand what in the HE double hockey stick I'm talking about nine times out of 10. So I think it's very fortunate that he does understand those things.
Right.
He
Right.
does understand what you go through and can empathize, sympathize, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've had whole shows on how do we work together, and I've got more funny stories about couples working together than just about anything else. It's just so funny, so funny.
It
We'll move on.
it's a
Yeah,
very unique dynamic, I have to say, that,
yeah,
you just have to find your balance. If you can do it, more power to you.
I can't do it. I've been married 31 years. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So luckily she's a, corporate. She's actually across the way here in another office doing her own thing. But
Good.
yeah, I couldn't do it. So let's talk about the future a little bit. I mean, you
Mhm.
sound like you're an agent of chaos. You said it earlier, so but what I find with people like that, because I'm very similar to that myself, but I have always had a hard time. Now I'm much older than you. As a matter of fact, it's one of my son's 30th birthdays today. But I've never been a good planner. Like
Okay.
I've always had a difficult time planning. Do you keep a 1, 3, or 5 year plan at all times, or?
As much as I think that people would like to have a 3 and 5 year plan, I would also like to have a crystal ball. So I know where I want to be, but I focus my time and effort more on my 1 year plan, because
Okay,
that to me is a little more tangible.
right.
That feels like
Sure.
okay, we can set out our marketing budget, we can set out, but as we have seen, 1 year to the next can be
Right.
night and day.
Right.
I don't want to throw away my 3 year, 5 year plan because we pivoted in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Therefore, we keep a loose idea of where we want to go and what kind of our long-term, objective is truly, but we have daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly goals that we are much more connected to.
Awesome. Yeah. You know what? And you make a valid point. The point I always make. Why would I make a 3 and a 5 year if I can't get past 1 year?
Right.
If I don't focus on 1 year, there is no 3 or 5.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I talk
Yeah.
to so many teams, and more power to them, because I just think everybody's different, right? Every team's
Yeah.
different, every
Oh,
agent's
sure.
different. They have to have that 5 year plan. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'll be involved in real estate in 5 years. I might go buy
I'm
England.
too busy selling houses to have a 5 year plan.
Yeah, I just, and I'm also not I don't have a team, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
like the solopreneur part, because
Sure.
my son hates this about me because he's a big planner. Um, I like to get up and go when I gotta go. It's
Yeah.
like I just gotta get up and go. And he hates that. It's just so funny. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, yep, got things to do. Bye. Anyway. So
Well, that
yeah,
could be where it comes from too. Is like you can't have chaos and structure
and plan. You can't.
at the same time.
Right.
So yeah.
If that phone rings at midnight because someone's stressed out, they want to be talked off the ledge about anything, I can't be like, well, it doesn't fit my plan. So,
Right.
I'll talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Yep.
You
Precisely.
brought up two things that I'd like to dovetail into. We'll kind of make it our last two things to talk about. You did say something about a crystal ball. So as long as we're talking magic,
Sure.
um, if I had a magic wand, and I could solve any day-to-day issue, and usually most agents I talk to have the same issues, but I have a feeling in this conversation, yours might be a little different. Are there any issues on a day-to-day that if I could solve just magically? I mean, it can be anything. Or do you live in a utopia with your business? Or is there anything, day-to-days that I could solve for you if I had a magic wand?
If there was one thing I could, and when you ask it like that, I'm hearing you ask me if there was a problem that could go away,
Yeah.
that we could kind of wade through. I think the one thing I would eliminate is buyer seller perception of what we really do for a living, of what we
Right.
truly do. I find myself having to justify and having to, kind of share a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And I see people, it kind of pulls back the curtain, but it's
Right.
amazing to me what people think we do for a living on social media. People bash realtors all the time, thinking
Sure.
that we make too much money. We make too much money. Well, you know what? Come hang out with me for a day and we'll talk.
Right.
So that would be probably the one thing that if we had a magic wand, I could wave, and I would
I
have
like the
maybe
answer.
a job description on my t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is HGTV lies to everybody. I call
I
it
know
the
it's hard.
WWE of real estate. Everything's
Exactly.
scripted and fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't just drive around in my most expensive car down west.
No.
I live in West Palm Beach. I drive up and down the island and wave at people, and they
Right.
throw the listings in my car.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like
No.
that. Why don't
No.
you think I'm paid too much? Why don't you look at all the ones that fall through? Look at all the ones that don't happen.
Yeah.
Look at all the
Yep.
marketing. I spent 3,000, 4,000 on a home to market, and the listing expired and I didn't get it. I didn't get it back. There's things like that. They don't
Right.
happen to me all the time, but things like that. They don't see those things. They're never going to be on HGTV and see that. And they're definitely, if they're not a realtor, they're never going to see it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
justified our money. There we go.
Good job. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So the second question that came out of your earlier response is, you had mentioned, how you budget your marketing. So I started working in the real estate arena, not as a realtor in 1992, but in REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust,
Okay.
in 1992. And marketing has changed a ton, right? Even just in the past decade, past 5 years.
In the past 5 minutes.
Past 5 minutes. It's changing right now. I have no
Yep.
idea what's going on.
Yep.
But it's changed a lot. So, I used to be a boots on the ground guy, still am. I used to go to BNI meetings. I used to do a lot of other things, a lot of things. And now, obviously, I do a lot of social media. Ardor SEO is one of, our sponsor, owns the show. We work with realtors only. What is your method to your madness in being successful in marketing? What works for you in the Puget Sound area?
Oh, big question. I think that it's one thing to have a marketing plan. And so you got to subcategorize that. I'm marketing my listings. I'm marketing myself. Right. I have an unlimited budget for myself. I have to have a limited budget for my listings. So what we do is we're consistent so that we always know what to expect. So our staging is, going to be X number of dollars. Our Facebook ads are X number of dollars, things like that. Again, it's a huge question, but we really, no matter what we do, we try to stay consistent. When we find something that works, we continue. When we find something that doesn't work, we squash it. I guess if that answers,
Sure.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, it's changed so much. Like you said, it's changed right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Some people still go to the BNI meetings. Some people still join organizations, and their sphere of influence through it. And then some people, especially younger people, tend to be like, no, I do everything on social media. 100%.
You can't do that.
I'm a Blueprint certified and AdWords certified. I actually worked for Google for almost years in their marketing, and I'll tell you, I could never rely on that solely.
No. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you totally just touched on something that's so important when it comes to newer agents who are saturated and inundated with social media and things like that. We still have to have the print material. We still have to have the pens with our logo, right? We still have to have the things that make us human.
Door hangers.
The three-dimensional, not just the audios and TikToks and this and that and the other, because someday that's going to be garbage. Someday that's going to be different.
Right.
Someday all of that work you put into your Facebook business page could be gone.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be gone. You're dare I say the TT word, that could be gone. There's things that we have to maintain in order to retain, our professionalism in our business.
What did you just say?
Maintain. We have to maintain to retain.
Okay, I'm going to put. I just want to make sure, because I'm going to put that on your thumbnail for your.
Oh, cool.
For the show.
There you go. So yeah, we do. We have to maintain the human element of this business.
There you go.
And I think that at the end of the day, the tangible stuff, the handshake, the belly to belly meetings, the sitting down and having coffee, the buyer guides, the marketing materials, these things. The handwritten note. Oh my gosh, the handwritten note is my favorite.
It is awesome. For sure.
Social media has completely eliminated the warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it worries me a bit though. And maybe that's an old man being worried. I'm worried about the weather. It's like I'm concerned about, because I'm not always going to be around, and you're not always going to be around, and there are a lot. I'll give you a stat that blows my mind. The month of October in the state of Texas, I'm in Florida, but I keep up with Texas because that's where I originated. State of Texas. So out of the 100% of renewals that came up, license renewals that came up in the month of October, almost 30% did not renew. And that was like a record high, but that was like a record high number of people who did not renew. And I think that is due to what we've had happen in the past 2.5 years that is not happening now. That that just a rush of home buying. And then I also think social media is to blame a little, because I think people try. I think younger people try, and then when it doesn't work on social media, they bail.
I think you're right. I think that we have kind of done the old food pyramid thing and put social media on the top, or it's the biggest section, and really it should just be a section, not the biggest.
Right.
The biggest is the human connection. The biggest element that we should always have in the forefront is human connection. Social media is void of all of that. We think we're connecting. That's the problem. We think we're connecting.
Right. We're not.
You know,
they're just
yeah.
seeing us. They're just seeing us.
Yeah, and it's a facade. And you know what? So and so can they can market a house they haven't even listed. So really, come on. I could go on and on about. So yeah, I was the generation that barely had computers in school, barely.
Right.
So fortunately, I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand in my face. I listened to stories of my grandparents, and I listened to understand. And I grew up with an old-fashioned mentality. And I feel like that right there is my single biggest asset in this business, is
right.
maintaining that, that want to connect, and that, like I said, listening to understand and wanting to help and wanting to solve a problem, because that's really, really all this is.
Right. It's a consultancy at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, how would someone get in touch with you if they wanted to list their home, buy a home, or maybe just chew your ear a little bit on real estate in general?
Oh, that'd be great. I love those opportunities. Easy to find, lindsayjackman.com online. Of course, Gig Harbor Broker on Instagram. But you know what I love more than anything is a good old-fashioned phone call.
Okay.
253-266-1067.
Perfect.
Pick up the phone and let's chat, because at the end of the day, our conversations are what's going to create success.
Uh-oh, I just got a new thumbnail quote.
What?
I'm going to break it up into 2 episodes.
That's fine.
Lindsay, here's the part you've been waiting for. I always say I'm the DJ and you're the hit record. I'm just spinning the record. Take us out. Give us some sage advice. Some positivity. Whatever's on your heart, mind, soul. It could be about your family, your dog, your business, the beautiful area that you live in. Whatever it might be. Take us out.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that I have written on a whiteboard that is just beyond my computer screen. And it is that you will only live the life that you believe that you can. When you are not feeling like you can be successful, looking inward. But we all truly have the power to be whoever we want to be in this life. And so waking up in the morning with a positive attitude and I can do it in your head is the most powerful. It's a superpower. It's the most powerful tool you have right between your ears.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you want to win, you will. If you want to succeed, you will.
Awesome. Sage advice.
Yeah.
Lindsay Jackman, the Lindsay Jackman Group, Century 21, Gig Harbor Realtor, Puget Sound. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thanks.
I would like to catch up with you the next 3, 6, 9 months down the road, see how things are going.
For sure.
And if I don't see you sooner than that, enjoy the rest of the year. And we'll talk again.
That sounds great. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Okay.